Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to the Chess family. It's 5 o'clock now. We are starting with our Indaba, Women in Chess. Chess South Africa signed off that we need to have a Chess Indaba before we finish the month, which is the Women's Month. So in our event this evening, we've got 4 incredible women that are involved in chess. It's Tshepang, it's Liezel, it's Lesego, and Anzel. So I will show you they're coming in, and then we can be able to have a view as to what is it that they are doing in chess. They're coming in live now with you. Welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Ladies, we invited 4 ladies. Unfortunately, Tshepang is in Turkey. She has moved to Turkey and she's unable to join us this evening. She tried by all means to do a pre-recorded interview, but that also fell off. So I only have you 3 ladies. I am your facilitator to ask you nice questions and tell South Africa how we are doing in chess in this country. So I will just kick it off and start with you, Liezel. Liezel Ahjum. Is it Ahjum, eh? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not.
Okay, thank you. What my question basically, the first question for you, in fact, everybody, is just to give us a background of who you are, so that we can start from there, the foundation, and then we can go on with the questions.
Okay. Okay, so I have to start.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, please.
Okay, thanks. Firstly, thanks for having me. I think it's quite an honor, to be chatting to the chess community. But okay, in terms of myself, my name is Liezel Ahjum, and I don't have any issues with the surname Ahjum because it's not my maiden surname, so you can pronounce it any way you want to. But I'm originally from the Northwest province, but I'm now fully in the Northern Cape province. I am the mom of 3 chess-playing girls. All of them are playing chess, and all of them are girls, which I think it's important. But then also, I'm the General Secretary of Chess South Africa. And Minnie, here I need to indicate I have not obtained this position through a technical process or whatever. I've been elected unanimously by 7 provinces out of the 10 members of Chess South Africa. So I just want to put that also. And then professionally, that is now chess, and it's the fact that I'm a mom. But professionally, I'm also registered with the Council for Geoscience, Geomatics Council in South Africa, as a practitioner practicing geoscience. And I'm also a senior manager in government. I'm responsible for the town planners of yourselves that are out there. I'm responsible for implementing what we're calling the Spatial Planning and Land Use Management Act. So in terms of this act, I'm supporting local municipalities in the Northern Cape. I'm also monitoring whether they are compliant with the legislation. So in short, that is me. Yes.
Hey, that was mouthful. I'm not sure if it was short. I think it was mouthful. Anzel, can you please just also take us through your journey?
I'm Niwa. Sorry, I'm getting there. I was practicing before. I was practicing before the time, in the mirror and all that, but it's different now.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Not a problem.
Hi, ladies, and Minnie. I hear Liezel call you Minnie. I'm gonna say Minnie now. That's easier.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes, I'm Anzel Laubsher. I'm here tonight as a chess player. I've been playing chess since I was 9 years old, and I've been representing South Africa since 1998. That was the first time South Africa selected a female or ladies SA team, and I was in that original team, and I'm the only one from the regional team still playing and still representing South Africa.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, I call myself the bitter einder. I just stick in there. I'm like a tick. I just keep on going, and I have my good and my bad years, but it also depends on what you do otherwise in life. Life moves on. And I'm a Women's International Master. I obtained the title in the year 2000. And besides that, my passion is also to coach and to develop coaches and trainers. And I've just been involved in many things, and lately I'm quite involved in charity events and charity things, not only for chess, but now the lockdown opened many other doors as well. So that's me, and I live in Cape Town. So grew up in Bloemfontein, live in Cape Town. Born and bred in the best place to be born and bred, and best place to grow up as well, and then continue your life.
Well, thank you for that. At least you were dry in Bloemfontein, and then you went to the beach side, so you've got to see that side at least. That changed. That's a great
You have
stuff.
no idea. We had a few storms here, and some days a few weeks ago I had to evacuate my place because my apartment is right on the beach. I literally had to pack my stuff. I kid you not, the first thing I did is I grabbed my passport because I've got a 10-year US visa on my passport. I was out of here. My passport and an overnight bag. I was ready to go.
Okay. Interesting. Ms Liezel, the provincial president of Northern Cape. Can you're on mute, so you can just take off mute there. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, chess community. My name is Lesego Mothata. I was born and bred in the Northwest in Khanyisa village. I'm a village girl. Okay. Yeah, I'm married. I'm a mother of 3, 2 girls and a boy who loves chess. The reason I'm so involved with chess. I'm a mother. I'm an aunt. I'm a sister. I had 4 siblings. 2 passed on together with my mother. Also passed on. But I'm left with these other 2 wonderful people. And like I'm saying, I'm an aunt. I'm a friend, a very friendly friend. I'm also a farmer, something that I just grew passion on recently, and I love doing it. Yes. I'm also involved in charities. I'm a deputy chairperson of Khanyisa Club 77. It's a club that deals with keeping girls' schools at work, keeping girls at schools. What we do is we collect sanitary pads for the girls because we realize that they miss a lot of schoolwork when they are on their days, so they get not to go to school. So that's what we are doing, but we're doing only in our village and surrounding small villages around our village, which is in Khanyisa village, like I said. I'm a very friendly person, very approachable. But like everyone, I do have weakness. I do have weaknesses, but I'll only mention one. I think I trust easily.
Oh, okay. That's not a bad weakness.
But that is
you're allowed to be beaten once. You're allowed to be beaten once, and then you'll say twice try, which is a great thing, I think. Yeah. Thank you very much, ladies. So I won't introduce myself much. I'm just a dad in chess, and that's all I am, and I like to engage as well. So a nice first question. It will go to you, Anzel, which maybe you didn't mention anything about your qualifications and everything. I think it's very important for the chess lovers in South Africa to know that you have some academic background. You're not only a player, you've got some brains academically. Can you just give just a short one on that note?
Well, Minnie, it's really a miracle that I actually do have academic qualifications. I was in grade 2 and I couldn't spell my surname yet. So yeah, now I've been blessed through my life to have I've got an academic background. I'm also a admitted advocate in the High Court, so I practice law and I'm an advocate, but I also lecture at the university. So I lecture law at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and I did my LLB in Bloemfontein, and then I came to Cape Town at UCT for my master's degree, and Just, in fact, Friday, I finished a mediation course also through UTT.
Yes.
So I'm now a mediator, and that is something I would definitely want to explore. I absolutely love the idea of taking that route to resolve
Okay.
certain disputes. Yes, can
Okay.
save a lot of court fees and lawyer fees. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds interesting. I think I must go to Liezel very quickly on this one. Since you are talking about mediation, I think there's a problem in South Africa about chess, and it so happened that in this time in life, you just got mediation as one of your courses, and you just finished that last week. Liezel, I know that there are things that you feel very strongly about in governance in Chess South Africa. So is it possible for you to tell us just a little bit about what are the issues with regards to governance in the South African Chess Federation?
Okay, Minnie, I will talk to that. I think there are a number of challenges in Chess South Africa, and I think most of them are related to administrative challenges. But there are also development challenges of play with regards to players. But administratively, I think Chess South Africa since 2012. Remember, 2012, the new constitution came into effect. So we're already at 8 years down the line of that constitution. I think as a federation, we failed to establish good governance practices and financial management principles and standards in the federation. When I became part of the federation, weird things, and it's not things that I'm used to because I come from a very structured environment. You couldn't find, things such as standard operating procedures. To give you guys an example, something that it was just blowing my mind. There's this thing in Chess South Africa of appointing managers, for example, to go with the teams internationally and so on. But when you ask as a newbie in the administration of Chess South Africa, I used to ask, but guys, where is the policy? I keep on seeing, the same people being appointed over and over, but where's the policy? How are we appointing these guys? Eventually, just to get rid of me, people were indicating, no, there's no such policy. So in terms of that, we've then established a standard operating procedure, which I think is a fair process. And all of the provinces are in that one needs to follow in terms of that. So, Minnie, in short, I think it's issues with regards to just operating a viable administrative organization. Other things that I can mention, there's no filing system, so when handover is done between administrations, there's no record, Anzel, of what is happening previously, no institutional knowledge, which you can then use, to attend to certain issues. So I think that is one issue. Then also for me, and I'm sorry, Anzel, I'm going to latch on to the player issue. I think there are a lot of issues that we should be attending to in terms of players. Firstly, in terms of the performance of players with regards to the rest of the world, if we compete internationally. I don't think, players are being assisted. The environment is not enabled. Players are left to their own devices, to make sure that they are on par with other their peers in the global village, so to speak. I think it's part of the federation duty, to set performance standards for players. I think if we want to send a team internationally, surely within the limits of the capabilities of that particular team, there needs to be goals set. We can't send a team and then, I'm not saying we need to bring back accolades and medals and so on, but surely we need to take the team through a process and setting goals. Listen, from this particular event, we want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. So just quickly in terms of that, Minnie, for me, it's about administration. We're not doing what we're supposed to do. Basic things of the Constitution, which also blows my mind. Basic things. Like, for example, the Constitution would say you need to be in good standing, as a member to vote, But this has not been done, it's clearly in the Constitution. So there are those things which creates the situation that we currently having. Because all of us knows why is there a Constitution, why all of us are having rules in order in which we should operate. Because all of us have got different views, And at one point, we need a framework that can point us all in the same direction. So currently, administrators in Chess South Africa doesn't have that common viewpoint, even though there are tools and systems in the federation and in SASCO to do that. So yeah, that would be my take.
Okay, thank you there, Liezel. Look, I see that Ms. Lesego, it's you that is now
Yes, sir.
taking over as the president, and Liezel has said quite a number of things around the tools that we're not using, the constitution that is not being followed, and you're the first woman to be the president in Northern Cape. So how are you going to deal with all these challenges that we're going to be facing? What is your vision, in fact, about Northern Cape, given all the challenges happening?
Okay, Mni. In terms of Northern Cape, we currently quite there, almost there, if I may put it that way, because as we have 5 districts, 3 of our districts are having structures, and as a federation, we do have the constitution which we are working on. We're working according to. We also have few documents that we have developed in our district that will guide us. That is actually guiding us to implement our constitution. We recently developed our development and transformation plan. We do have a disciplinary procedure policy in place. We do have a code of conduct, because we experience some of the challenges regarding the parents that would give us challenges in terms of taking us to court because we didn't nominate their children for a particular competition. So we thought we should just put some measures in place in order to attend to such things. So my vision is actually my response. It is not only the vision; it is my responsibility to ensure that Northern Cape Chess grows, and that when we go to the tournaments, we take a strong, big team. How can we do that? Is we really need to source funding, because we need to have a pool of well-trained, let me say, professional coaches, arbiters, and tournament directors. Currently, in our province, we don't have the technical staff. We only have about 3 arbiters and 1 tournament director and 1 assistant arbiter. And okay, we do have coaches, but they are doing jobs on their private. They are doing private coaching. So we need to have coaches that are actually, I would say, appointed by the federation, where we know that at least in every district has about 2 to 3 coaches that will be able to reach the players across the province, because our province is quite vast. If you go to Namakwa, the towns or the townships are quite apart from each other. So if at least we can have coaches across the districts, where we will have at least few coaches per municipality, whereby we can reach more players, because I believe that our players are the cream of the crop, or the gold, the unpolished diamonds are sitting in the villages where we are unable to reach. So if once we source funding and we are able to provide training to professional staff, then that will make me happy, because then we will be able to take a bigger and stronger team to the SAs, where some of our players will be selected to form part in the national games. Because so when I started joining chess, that was my biggest worry. We would go to SAJCCs and we'll only take a very small team. And I'm like, I'm here. I think if I have a chance, I will make sure that the development is there, so that we can be able to reach more players. We can be able to have a bigger team where each and every age group will be represented with different categories.
Thank you, Tangi, about that. Okay, so Anzel, this comes back to you then. You spoke about mediation, and we were told what the problems are. Maybe there'll be mediation on that side. But I think the real thing about our conversation today is about women in chess. And I'm trying now to understand. I was looking now at the titles that we have here. I'm looking at candidate masters. We've got 47, which is their male. And then women candidate masters 35, which is less. But not bad if you look at the ratio between male and female that are playing. If you look at the males that are playing, we've got about 7,400 and something. But the females that are playing are 2,500. So that's a 70% and a 20% difference. The only part where women are more is on the women GM. We've got 2, and then 1 GM who's not living here in the country. Women GM, WGM. I saw something that we've got 2. Is that correct?
Sorry, who's the second one? Melissa Greef and who else?
I'm not sure what's the name of the other one, but I did check that.
No, there's only one Melissa Greef. Only Melissa Greef.
So. And then on IM, so it means if it's 50-50, then that's very good for women to also have 1, and guys, difference are 74%. They also have 1, which is a pickup. And then on IM we've got 8, and then women WIM are 13. So which means that there's more females in that category.
Probably.
So maybe just take us through as to how do we get more female playing, because on the base that we have on gender and female, we've got 7,004 for males, 2,500. What are these things that are hindering women to play?
I don't have the answer, the straight and narrow answer for you on that one, but okay. I can give you the challenges. I think we should start with the challenges. For me, it's quite interesting to see that there are, when you do the stats like that, and to see that there are so many WIM players and compared to IMs or whatever. Yes, people say it's easier for women to get the title, and it's easier for us women to play because we need, we play against women, and you can fudge it the way you want it, all right? But you know what struggles we have, for instance, like when we play on our level now, when we play the African individual championships or the African zonal championships or like big championships like that. To give you an example, we will play the African individual championships, and we will have to fly to Algeria or Egypt or Zambia or wherever. For me to get on a flight, and for you as a man to get on a flight, costs exactly the same. I don't pay half price because I'm a woman. All right.
Sure.
For my accommodation, to stay there and to eat there, I pay exactly the same as a man pays. Right? My entry fee is exactly the same as any male's entry fees, but my prize money is half of it. So most of the time when I go play, as I'm not just saying me, I'm saying as a female player, when I go play, first of all, I've never had a sponsor. Me personally, Anzel Laubsher, I've never had a sponsor in my entire life to say that this is the person who sponsors me, right? All my life, and I didn't have rich people, our parents. I had to pay my way. I had to work for my money, save my money, and go and play. That's how I did it, even now. And I didn't get an advocate title because I paid for it. I had to work for it. I had to study. I had to pass exams. I had to sacrifice weekends. I had to sacrifice holidays. I had to sacrifice many things to get this. And even up to today, both my parents also passed away already. So I have nothing to fall back on. It's nothing like that. I'm working, I'm earning my money, I'm saving up, and I'm playing. But what I also do is, as a female player, I also network a lot. And I think of all the female players currently, I've done quite a lot of networking and negotiating with other countries for invitations, because the WIM title helps a little bit. Because if you negotiate nicely, then you can get half accommodation or free accommodation or something. Then I pay my plane ticket and I go and play. I've been to places like, I'm the one who would take the risk of getting on the plane and go and play for a month in India, women alone, or fly all the way to Iran. In 2017, I went to Iran to play a tournament, women alone. I wore the hijab. I was on the plane all the way alone here to Iran. I came back. I was back for 10 days. I got another invitation to Iraq. I went all the way to Iraq to play. But this is how you get the invitations, because you will always see on Facebook as well. I will give credit to the people who invite me to wherever I go play. That's why it's important to be visible in that sense. You know, it's not about bragging where you're going. It's about giving acknowledgement to the organizers. If you play a nice tournament, give acknowledgement to the organizers. And just to take you back a little bit further, when we played the first time in 1998, when we went to Russia, Elista, we played in Elista. The first time we selected a female team. Even back then, we had to. I remember back then we had to pay for ourselves. We had to get together 15,000 rand each to go and play. Nothing was, and that was the Olympia team. So we weren't sponsored. Then later on, Chessa started to get lotto funding and other grants and stuff, and that helped a lot. And I think since 2004 probably, or 2002, speak under correction because I didn't go in 2002. Maybe then it was already paid for as well. But in 2000, I still know we had to pay something in. All players still had to pay something towards it. And it was only later on that we got to the point where we didn't have to pay for the Olympiad. And now recently, the last probably 5 or 6 years, we would get something. If we go and play the African individuals, Chess South Africa would give some players, sometimes if they have extra funding, they would give something towards our flights or something. But it's not even a quarter of the total cost. Unless you're the official player where you get the free accommodation, for instance. And I know for a fact up to now, look, if you want me to wear the mediator cap, I will tell you now straight up that I'm not taking sides here. I'm here today as a player, as a female player, and that's it. Because I also think that Chess South Africa in the broad, not the management, everyone should understand that there's a history and many players suffered. Many players had to work hard to get to where they are today. And nobody got it for free. No one got it on our laps, and people don't understand. I believe in giving back. That's where I'm a firm believer in. You have to give back, and you have to even if you're still playing, it doesn't mean that you have to retire to be able to give back. And that's something I would definitely want to leave behind one day, is to be able to leave something behind, to give back.
Minnie, I really want to jump in here because I think Anzel raised very important issues for players, especially the female players. I don't know, and I want to enter the discussion from a policy perspective. The figures that you quoted, being a female and being a mother of 3 girls, you've quoted something like 7,000 boys versus 2,000 boys, 2,000 girls. Okay, so let's check what has happened since 2012. I'm going again to talk about the Constitution of Chess South Africa. If you guys go to Schedule 3 of the Constitution of Chess South Africa, it says non-racialism, it talks about equality, all of those things. So in South Africa, when we talk about non-racialism, we also talk about equal access for everybody, not only guys and so on. And I want you to keep in mind that this constitution was signed in December 2012 and it was implemented, I think, in March, something to that effect. But when we joined Chess South Africa, when our girls started to play chess for the first time, we joined, I think, somewhere in 2014. And the very first thing, and that is why I got so agitated, and that's why we decided to get, involved in the administration of chess, particularly in the province, and then also Chess South Africa. There was a policy being discussed, and everybody should know this. It's called the Youth Selection Policy. And if you go check the version of that policy in 2013, that version clearly indicated 6 girls will be selected for whatever, whether it's international or national play, against 10 boys. Now, I was so shocked when I saw that because, Lesego, you are also part of government. You know the work that we do in government to promote the girl child. And then you stumble across a policy that is flagrantly in conflict with its constitution, selecting 6 girls versus 10 boys. You know, that is where the problem starts. That is why in 2020, after 2012, we are having 7,000 boys versus 2,000 girls. You see, so policy wise, we need that was then subsequently corrected. That policy has been corrected. And you will check Minnie and the guys, the community out there, the chess community, for the next close that was played after that policy change. Go check how many girls participated in the closed for the first time ever in this country. You know, so what I'm saying is, Minnie, the way that we structure our policies, and the way we have been able since 2012 to build in certain biases, you know, whether it's racialism, whether it's inequality, those policies are there, you know, and then you end up with players such as Anzel that have been negatively affected by those type of policies. And I think that is where I want to make the point about good governance. If you have good governance principles in place, you would be aware of what the Constitution of South Africa is saying about racialism, you know, all of those things, inclusivity. So for me, that is very important. The last part that I want to raise with this, Minnie, and I hope you indulge me. You wouldn't believe, when this policy was being discussed and amended, and tabled for discussions and so on. Some of our female individuals have put up rigorous, you know, motivation why the policy should stay the same, 6 girls versus 10 girls. And even if I'm sure some of the colleagues out there would remember at the beginning of this year, we attended a meeting that was arranged in the name of Chess South Africa. And you know what, Anzel, and you guys will laugh, and I'm sure Lesego would also laugh. You guys know how feminism came about. I think somewhere in the 50s, a lot of women, you know, they burned their some undergarment, you know, just to say we are now fed up with this treatment. I'm sure you guys can remember that. I felt exactly the same way in that meeting. Because, you know, one of our female administrators in one of the regions, that lady stood up, and I will never forget that particular point in that meeting. That lady indicated to our male counterpart to say, listen, thanks so much for reading these complex court documents, you know, and interpreting it for us. You know, what was this particular woman saying? That females can't read complex court documents, that females can't make decisions. You know, it felt like I was back in 1950 with that particular statement. And with that, I want to say to you, you know, it's the influence of females, you know, the influencing of the particular administrative functions in Chess South Africa. We're not here to take the minutes. We're here to actively contribute, you know, how we're taking this federation forward. So I wanted to make that point from a policy perspective. So thank you for allowing me.
Thank you, Liz. Lesego, I just want to know now, as a mother of 3, and we know that the only reason why you became part of chess, unlike Anzel wanted to play chess. Anzel, you were Solomon's then, am I right? When you started playing?
No. I started as Laubsher.
Oh, okay.
I was Laubsher always.
Oh, okay.
For a short while, I was Solomon's.
Oh, okay.
I'm Laubsher.
Okay.
Laubsher.
So, Lesego, so what I want to understand from you as a mother now, you are going to be in administration. Yet you have to take your kids to go and play, and then you have to deal with your other family stuff. How do you balance these things? Because I think it's interesting for us to know that.
Okay. I believe in prioritizing your schedule. You know, if you are at work, you need to finish what you've planned for yourself for the day, and in between, you know, things like unforeseen exercises will come in, but you need to really prioritize and make sure that when you are at work, you finish what you needed to cover for a day. Now, in terms of juggling the two, being at home and being at work, I mostly attend my chess stuff during the weekend. For instance, if there's a tournament, I would literally spend the whole day there. Like I'm one of the first people to arrive and the last people to leave, because I need to see that the tournament runs smooth. That was now before I become a president. Maybe now I'll start directing. I'm joking. Because like I'm saying, my involvement in chess actually started at club level. I was actually not part of the administrator. I was just a parent. So as I get there to take my child to a tournament, I'll realize that, but there's something that needs to be done here. Like I mentioned to you yesterday, that I like getting my hands dirty. So I started like volunteering in terms of being there and assisting when the tournament, assisting in terms of just taking out the pairings and taking it out to the players, doing the score capturing. So I literally dedicate my whole Saturday to chess, because then there's also weekend where there's also Sunday where you need to now dedicate your time to God, you need to go to church. So I literally manage my time by putting things in terms of their priority. But I do also play. I can't just work and not play. I have my time of playing, going out, and I have my time to pray. So I do everything. I give each and every thing its own time. So that's how I manage my.
By play, you mean playing, doing your social stuff, or play chess?
No, I can't play chess.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I was just asking. I know many moms don't know how to move, don't know the piece, nothing. They just send the kids to play and wake up that baby. How did you play? And then when the baby comes back crying, oh baby, sorry, that's all.
But at least I can pack a body. I'm not that illiterate.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good. And then there's a question coming from the audience here.
Okay.
Or a statement, in fact. One is that they say, thank you for giving a background about what you've been experiencing throughout your life in chess. But there is a comment here that says women generally stop sooner. They follow careers and have families. I think you can see that. Yeah, so it's coming from Justin. So I don't know what is your comment on that, because I think earlier on you were saying you are the only one left in the team that went into the world. I don't know, it's World Chess in 1998. So you're the only one left. I think that I heard something of that nature. So maybe you can indulge us on that.
Yes. Hi, Justin. Thanks for the question. Yeah, well, Minnie, this is a challenge, because we still very much live in the era where we once we get married and we have babies, and then we need to stop, because we have to now raise kids, and as being normally the primary caregiver, I'm probably going to get into trouble for this now, but especially with the early phases of a child's life, being the mom, and then often women have to stop, and but I can tell you that I have many friends, international, most of them international players, who are women's grandmasters or grandmasters, male grandmasters, and they have 2 or 3 kids, and they manage it. It's like a career. I mean, even in law, I see that many of my colleagues would have a child and then spend some time assisting with raising kids and stuff, but come back to work at some stage, So it's like building a career and having a family. It's difficult, but it's definitely manageable. So, but I agree. But I think what Justin's trying to say is that it has an effect on why women stop playing after a while, and also remember another thing. If you look at a few decades ago, like my grandparents and even my mother, my mom's died, but my grandparents, they didn't study. The women weren't allowed to study, or didn't really study back then, So now it's just, I think we might always be that little step that generational step behind, you know. So now we're getting to the thing that it's fine for women to have a career and to have proper qualifications and all that. So we're just getting into that now. And now to add on to it, it's, we find where men and women have sometimes separate roles, where the dad is the stay-at-home parent, you know. That for me is quite the fascinating thing happening nowadays. Might be the way forward. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So Liezel, I know that the constitution of CHESA is saying the top executive has to be 50-50. You can't have more males than females. But it suits for the executive to have females more than males. The only thing it stops is when there are more males. I don't know whether you want to indulge us on that, in terms of the constitution.
Okay. Thanks, Winnie. The Constitution allows, for the 50%. And actually, the Constitution is very clear how that 50% female, 50% male is reached, There are certain conditions. First, office bearer positions such as your president, your vice president, and so on. When you've elected a particular gender, like 2 or 3 males or so, you can't continue with that, and the Constitution is very strict in the sense that if certain positions when you've reached that target of 50% male, or I think it's first 4 males or first 4 females, those positions needs to be left vacant. So it's very important for administrators to, I think Chess South Africa has got a very good constitution. It's a tedious, cumbersome constitution, but I think there's a lot of checks and balances built in there, to make sure that we are equal in terms of numbers, firstly, and that we've equal say in terms of the gender split, So I think it's very, the problem is we're not always, following those prescripts as we should. So yes, I want to stop there, Minnie.
Thank you, Danke, on that one. Yeah.
Can I ask something here?
Yes.
So it's all good and well to have that. I'm wearing the mediator's cap now, right? It's all good and well to have that in the Constitution. I'm a woman. I can change my mind like that. I've got.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's our prerogative. So it's all good and well to have that in the Constitution. To say that. Okay, 50% should be women and so on. But what are the chess management in general doing to develop any administrators at this stage? Because from an objective perspective, I mean, I wrote courses on sports law on BTEC level and sport management and all that. And if you look at good corporate governance, there's a lot of good corporate governance for many years now that hasn't been followed. And that is, what do we actually do? I don't know if I should ask this to the National Federation or maybe even to the Olympic Committee. What's being done to develop administrators in this regard? Because this is clearly a shortfall.
Look, before you answer there, Liezel, I think Anzel, you are raising a good point. Yeah. And I think what we have noticed in recent times is that people don't like to read.
Yes.
When they don't want to read the documents, then it makes them to be incapable of implementing what is on there because they have not read it. As a result, they flout all the Constitution. And I think it's a great point what you're raising, in a sense that it's something that all of us must start thinking about, that when you see something wrong happening in another region, we must raise our hands. No, but it's not supposed to be like this because the Constitution is saying this. Just that is just my point on it. I don't know, Liezel, what you want to say about it.
Thanks, Minnie, for that. Yes, it's been my experience, and you guys, the reason why I'm not playing chess is because I prefer reading. At a very young age, opposed to a board game, I would find a book more interesting. So I'm a reader, and it's it's so annoying in Chess South Africa when people don't read. But to get back to your question, Anzel, I think it's about the federation not being professionalized. And if I'm talking about professionalization, it's a whole institutionalized process. You need to identify what are the gaps, what are the skills lacking in this particular federation. And there needs to be a conscious action plan, a step one, a step two, to get to a desired point of being professional, training of people in terms of, I get the sense in Chess South Africa, there's not a lot of understanding what is good governance, what are those principles. And I'm sure if you, in South Africa, if you look at how good corporate governance are rated, you need to understand that there's a report, I think it's the King 5 report now, that are setting out a lot of issues, skills gaps, and certain systems that you need to put in place. And the Constitution of Chess South Africa allows for all of that. But like I've said earlier, and I'm going to continue to saying it, unless we implement the policy frameworks that are there, we're not going to get past this particular issue. So there are a lot of issues in terms of training. How there's this constant fight. I think the latest fight now is about arbiters training. All of a sudden there are two sessions on arbiters training, which is a good thing. But now with this particular one, it seems that one group wants to outdo the other group, which is not good for progress. It's not good for development in the federation. So we need to, and it's an administrative thing, we need to iron that out. But I agree with Anzel. There are a number of things that we are supposed to be doing and we're not doing them. Thanks.
Anzela,
Minnie,
okay.
can I just add on? Yeah, can I just add on that? Liezel, you mentioned a few valid things about the skills development and all that. And I was I don't know if you know this, but I was in 2015, I was the GM, the general manager for the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation. So I worked with all the different sporting codes in the Western Cape, right? So when I did that, I mean, I had to sometimes attend their AGMs on behalf of the Sport Confederation and so on. So I was very involved. I worked with each president personally, and to get them, with all the affiliation regulations and all that. And to be honest, Liezel, you mentioned about professionalizing the body. I agree with that, but we as a chess community, we have the people, we have the manpower, chess being the sport it is, to really do that without professionalizing it yet. It can't be used as an excuse anymore. People say, I see other federations not being professionalized and doing a brilliant job, regardless. So, but what I would suggest and this I would suggest to any federation, is that they should actually, especially now during lockdown, that we do everything online and we do so many courses online and all that, there should be a course developed for any person who wants to be a treasurer or a president or whatever. They need to do an online course of, even if it's 5 hours or 6 hours, do a short assessment on it. Just like Liezel said, people don't want to read. I 100% agree with you. But again, we allow that as an excuse for someone who doesn't read and doesn't know what the hell is going on in my federation. It's okay because I didn't know, but because you didn't read. And it's not okay, all right? If you put yourself up, even if you're a volunteer, we're all volunteers in this. But it's no excuse. Volunteer also means that no one put a gun to your head to be in that position. You did it out of your own free will. A volunteer doesn't only mean that you're not getting paid for it. So being a volunteer is no excuse for not doing your job. If you don't want to do it, let someone else do it then for free. Not reading shouldn't be an excuse anymore. So we need to put checks and balances in place. And these online short courses or something might actually be a nice check and balance, especially easily if we maybe start with empowering women. Because our constitution now says we need to have 50% females on the but what are we doing? What are we doing to develop these women and to get them to a point to be administrators? So maybe if we have something like that put together, that might be a good start.
Anzel, it's if in fact you have hit they say the nail on the head. I don't know whether they say it like that. I think that is it. What I was wanted to ask now is I wanted to ask Lesego, because we have kept her out a bit. I just wanted, because
Sorry,
we have just spoken about. No, it's fine. I just wanted to give us maybe if she has thought of something that you can do, or what she can say in order for us to get more women into leadership. Because I think also sometimes you don't have to force people in if they don't want to. You cannot take a horse to the river and force it to drink. But we need to prepare them to get to that level. So you are women in leadership at this point in time. So what are the things that really you can probably say in this platform and probably do as well when we leave this platform in order to have ladies coming in as leaders?
Okay, thank you, Mni. I think that the most important thing, like you say, it has to come from a person, because people are not keen to volunteer. That is the reason why even currently in our executive committees, you find that there are more men than women. But now what we need to do as women, I think we need to encourage our small girls at a very at a very low age to put that thing in their mind so that they can know that they can become leaders. They have all the potentials. I mean, each and every individual is having talent. God has created us. Each and every person
Have some nice challenges there from Lesego. It can happen, guys, with all the networks. Yeah. Okay. Whilst we're waiting for Lesego, I just want for you, Anzel, to tell us a bit about your Cayman. Is it Cayman Islands? That you were a coach there, and what I like about the story when I read it was that you were going to be the coach, head coach for the island. I think this island is between Jamaica and Cuba.
Yeah.
And your function there, yeah. So your real function was for you to make sure that chess in the government schools roll out. And I know that as South Africans, that's what we want to happen. And why has it not happened in South Africa? And why do you go overseas and be able to do this and not do it here?
Yeah, I don't know if I should go into that, the real answer in that for now, because I don't want to wrap anyone over the knuckles here.
Okay.
But okay, let's get back to Cayman Islands. Well, it was a position that they advertised, and it was, well, someone told me from FIDE, hey, why don't you apply for this? And I just took a chance. I really, at that stage, you can see that I played a lot of international chess. And what I actually did is I would just work. I was then working for myself as an advocate, and I would just do a lot of work myself into stupor, then go play I would work for a month and a half or 2 months, save up money, pay my bills, go play for a month abroad, and so on, And then I was a bit burnt out at that stage because I had to work hard to earn money to be able to go and play, and then this came about, and I applied for the position, and I got shortlisted, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, because there were GMs and IMs from all over the world who applied, and I got the job, and
Wow.
I had the most amazing time. Guys, it was, I will most probably go back. We're just waiting on government funding on that side.
Okay.
I spent almost a year there, and I rolled out the Chess in Schools program that I wrote for them, and I rolled it out in all their government schools. We started off with all the kids at the age of 12, they're year 4. So we at the age of 9. So every child in the government school, I saw every child in the government school once a week. I would have a session with the entire class, and the teachers were involved and all that, and also then in the high schools we had about 13, 14-year-olds, that age group. They're different to our grade levels. So and then I would see them also once a week. I also helped with the training of their national team. They didn't have a chess federation back then, so they applied for the for the approval of their national federation. It's been approved now. They played their first international event now in the online Olympiad. I was so proud. I was like a mom, this child going to school. I was so proud.
A mom of the country. You're a country mom. You're the country.
Yes.
You are a mom for the whole country.
Oh, it was amazing. It was so emotional to see them play, and it was so nice. Yeah. So, so I did that. But what I did there, what I think can actually, this is something I would personally love to do in South Africa. It actually started very innocently on that side, because on Saturdays I coached for free at the library. So that's there. All the kids, any kid can come on a Saturday morning, and I had coaches that I trained on that side, and the coaches will help me, and we will have groups, and we will train the kids, right? So the dads, and Tuesday evenings, we would have a Kamana Bay, which is like a restaurant wine place. So there's a chess club on Tuesday night. So I also ran that for them. So on Tuesday nights, the dads would come and play, their blitz and have their wine and so on. And then Saturdays, the dads will also bring the kids to the library, but then they would arc fast there on the other level and start playing each other, So they, 2 o'clock when they closed the library, I had to chuck them out to say, guys, we have to go now. So then the mums came to me when we had our tournament. The mums came to me and they said, you know what, Anzel, this is so unfair, because the dads can have Saturday mornings playing chess, Tuesday nights drinking wine and playing chess, and us as mums, we also want only if it's once a month, if we can have something. So we started, I worked together with the art gallery there, which is like a leisure center kind of thing, and we had a chess and wine, not cheese and wine, chess and wine evening for the mums. And what we did is the teachers, any female teachers and the mums, but okay, we don't have to have the wine here. I do understand we don't need to have wine, but that was island living, So we would have one evening with snacks and wine, and I would teach the women to play chess, but I would teach them how I would teach a 6-year-old. So they know how to go and teach a 6-year-old. And that's something I would love to do in our communities, to go out and teach the women in whichever area. Because I believe if you teach a man, you teach an individual. But when you teach a woman, you teach the nation.
Yes,
so
correct.
That's why I want to go. I would love to go out and rather empower the women and teach them how to, but you teach them in a way that they should teach a 6-year-old. You don't teach an adult here. You teach like you would teach a 6-year-old. Yeah.
Okay.
Minnie, I would want to say something about this, if I can. So I am at your guidance.
Yes.
Can I continue?
Yes. You can have a bite. Yes.
Yes, and I'm going to make it a quick bite. For me personally, getting chess into schools, I think that is what South Africa is currently missing the point with. I don't know how many of you are following the discussions in Department of Education. I've seen a number of presentations, where the department are sort of investigating or researching, the process of improving performance, learner performance. And, I'm of the view, Minnie, that Chess South Africa is holding that answer for the country. You guys know the issues we have with the poor skills generally in South Africa. Only a few of our countrymen, are having the required skills to keep the economy of the country going. If I can use my province and my profession as an example quickly, we've been implementing the legislation that I've indicated. In the Northern Cape at provincial level that was supposed to assist us with this particular task, we're only at 1 town planner for the entire Northern Cape. If you go to a province like the Western Cape, I don't know how many, it's probably in excess of 300 town planners. Free State next to us, probably 42 town planners that were tasked with that particular task. And if you look at a province like the Northern Cape, and if you look at all of these professional skills, such as town planners, for example, all of these professionals are coming from outside, because the kids of the Northern Cape never go study those type of things because their results are not good enough. If you follow matriculants, that have been playing chess in the country, sometimes I do that, if I know a kid and they're in matric, just follow the results of that particular kid. They always end up, top in the class. They always have a good result in terms of their year-end exams. Now, we want to have that same outcome for all of the provinces. In particular, I would drive that for the Northern Cape, Lesego. We need to institutionalize chess as part of the curriculum in South Africa. And Minnie, the reason why we're not doing that at the moment is that Chess Africa as a national body need to influence, and that is my take on it, need to influence government policy in this country. We're not a similar federation such as Rugby South Africa. We can really change the skills gap in this country. You guys know the story of Susan Polgar. Her dad was an educational psychologist, the experiments that he did. It's a proven fact. If you start kids in grade R already, you are going to create that brain change, that Susan Polgar went through. And it's my view that the National Federation needs to commission those studies. The National Federation actually needs to examine what Anzel has been doing. How can we harvest those best practices and convince Department of Education that we must be doing this as a country, looking at the bigger picture. So I wanted to say that. You guys can hear I'm from a very structured, implementing legislation. So my approach is always to take it, very structurally. So what Anzel is suggesting, I'm suggesting, instead of making it an informal thing, it needs to be institutionalized in government, in the country.
Okay. That sounds perfect for me. Yeah. Yes.
Hello. Just to get in there. I'm sorry. My laptop just went. The battery went flat.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for that. Just in addition to what you guys are talking about, it is evident that more players are playing chess at school. I've seen that when we organize tournaments for schools, we always get a lot of players as compared to when you organize maybe a club tournament. So most of the children do play chess at school, but they don't belong to clubs. So they rather prefer to play at school. And when they play at school, that's where now we get a lot of players, because now the school the SGBs gets to sponsor a registration fee for the kids to come to play. As compared to the clubs where now parents have to pay out of their pocket. In our province, there's a lot of people that are not working, or if they are working, they are just working your seasonal jobs. Like for instance, in your district, like your ZFM and your Namakwa district. So you schools is where I concur with what Liezel is saying. If chess is being taught at school as a subject, then it can assist to boost the number of players in all the provinces and in the country in general.
Okay, thank you about that. I think then we've got the answer, because Anzel has got the answer.
Yes, it seems like it.
Yeah. So you mustn't look very far. Somebody has done it and it's amongst us, Yeah. So those skills we're supposed to take from them, so that we can see how we get around this thing. And she can charge us for that, for doing it as well. Okay, guys, we have run over the time. I think we will, if we continue, we will finish at 10 o'clock. There's a lot to talk about in chess. And thank you very much for the time. I just need only 10 seconds of each of you before I close the Indaba. Anzel, can we start with you?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me tonight. This was fun, and just to speak about women's chess, and it also takes me down memory lane and reminds me where I come from and who I am, and the chess is such a big part of my life still, and it will always be. And I want to encourage first of all, the girls out there. If you think whether you should play chess or not, go for it, try it. You've got nothing to lose, and it's so much fun. for me, chess is 90% more about the people you meet and the places you go, and then obviously the game as well. But it literally took me all over the world, and I've seen amazing things in my life through chess, not just for myself, but other people going places because of chess. And I'm happy for everyone who can have a good story because of chess. And then for the other chess players, the top players, I really want to encourage us ladies to take the reins here and make the way forward for the little girls as well. You know, it's easier to learn from a girl. If you're a little girl, it's easier to learn from a woman. So let's do this. Let's make a difference and grow the sport amongst the girls in the country. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Anzel. Thank you, Anzel. Thank you very much for your time. In your busy day, maybe you were praying earlier on today, maybe you went to church, or you're having your chess day. Is it chess day or wine chess? What is that one that you used to do in?
No, it was a church day.
Oh, okay. All right. Liezel, can you also just give us a last minute?
Thanks, Minnie. Minnie, I want to thank you guys very much, for including me in this session. You know what? You guys have, throughout this interview, you probably picked it up, that I'm an administrator. I look within the confines of frameworks and policies and so on. For the first, and I think my weakness is that I don't understand chess players, for me, they're weird, this game, that takes hours and so on. So I'm very grateful for the background that Anzel has provided. It gives me a sense of, how chess players are. For me, this is about administration. You guys are not complying in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to get that right. But I don't think I had an appreciation for the fact of how this, all affects chess players. And I think Anzel has provided that background for me. Thank you, and I appreciate that.
Thanks, Liezel. Thanks, Liezel, for that. And Lesego, can you give us the last bite?
Just before I conclude, Nick, and I would just like to give an advice to our young chess players and young ladies in general, that they should just believe in themselves, own up and become the queens they are. They must just learn to trust who God says they are. They shouldn't listen to what people say they are, because people can be dream killers. I was just saying before I went off that each and every person has a talent. And I believe that we can have female leaders within the chess community, either those that have been playing and they at later stage decide not to play anymore. They can still continue to be administrators in chess. As they do have that potential in them, they should never doubt themselves. And when they are given an opportunity, they should just grab it and run with it. In conclusion, I would just like to say, we can get this thing right in Chess SA if we decide to lead by faith, not by our emotions and our arrogance, because there's a lot of things happening in Chess SA. God will guide us, and we will actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. The Bible in Romans 8 verse 28 says, "All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose." En ek sê, as ons saamwerk en saamtrek, chess will be back to normal, and we will be one big happy family and successful. I thank you, and I thank the organizers for having given me this opportunity.
Thank you very much. And my leader on the back side, can you please just show Lubabalo Khatebe? It was a very fruitful Indaba. This is the last remark that is coming from it was a very fruitful Indaba. Thank you guys for the insight. And they say, yeah, you strike a woman, you strike a rock. It's a translation from Xhosa, and it's made like that, and it's a fact, and we've seen it, and we agree with it. So from my side, as a host, I want to say thank you very much, ladies, for coming through. It was a great, informative session, and also we're going to have some resolutions on this, and then make sure at least we send it to everybody that is here. Also, Anzel, you'll get one. in relation to what you've spoken about, but there's a lot of things that we touched on. And then we're just going to put what are the immediate actions that we need to take, what are the long-term ones, and then share with you and confirm that, yeah, this is what we discussed, and then we can see how far CHESA can make sure that they implement going forward. Thank you, Danke.
Minnie?
Yeah. Yes,
Are we
yes,
off?
Anzel. We're going to be off. We're still on the show.